good people, brothers and sisters. Hey, what's happening? I guess I want to touch on a topic today about, the things that's been going on in our communities and whatnot, you know, right to the day that when we were conceived, before we was conceived, and, it's just been plaguing the communities. I don't care what community you're in, it's a plague in every community nowadays. It was, used for only a particular community, but it's everywhere now, and it's in a different form nowadays too. And those are some, paying attention and conscious. They kind of already know where I'm going. We're gonna talk about drugs. Yeah, legal and illegal drugs. Because again, it's here. How is it here? Because there's a demand. Who creates this demand? A power that's bigger than you and I. So I just wanted to get off into the topic. It goes back to, I would say we can go back to Vietnam. You got brothers and sisters, of all ethnic groups that, did what they were supposed to do. They went over to a country and, supported their government. But it's crazy how when they came back from Vietnam, a lot of them wasn't supported the way they needed to be supported, and also came back with habits. Not to mention that a whole new systematic of experiment of drugs showed up in certain communities. So you ask yourself, man, you know, at what point, did our government start taking it serious? I'm not trying to point, fingers at the government, but at some point, if we elect the government to, keep things in order and handle things, then it failed us, back then. And here it is, 2021. It's still failing us, you know. And the only reason I, kind of point the finger in a direction slightly is because a lot of this stuff can't be moved across borders without, airplanes, ships. So, again, I can't really pinpoint exact what part of the government, would be highly involved in it and what part not. This is why you got different branches. But I will tell you, though, is that a lot of branches, no, I'm not going to say a lot. Well, one branch specifically has been pointed out as being one, a part of it. So if you know anything about the real freeway Rick Ross from Los Angeles, then you know exactly where this is going. Where the CIA was used to, set up shop during the 1980s, and that's how you get your crack epidemic. But I'm jumping a little too fast and a little ahead of myself. But we're gonna go back and deal with the brothers and sisters during the Vietnam time. This is the 60s and 70s, and back then, the only crime was nickel and dime crime. But when heroin hit the scene, that was a different monster, man, and it devastated, urban communities. And like I say, nobody seen it as a problem as long as it stayed across that invisible line, But once it ventured out, oh, there's a war on drugs. You know what I mean? And, if you ask me, all people from all walks of life, any ethnicity, are God's children, despite their color, you know. But again, you got some people up in power that, believe different. So, some are going to drag their feet when it comes to certain issues, while others are going to just totally ignore it. And then you got other ones, that sign up to be a part of politics just for that reason, to combat it. And again, money comes along, and again, threats and things of that nature, because it's a billion-dollar industry. So again, it's a hell of a war. But you really have to ask yourself, how and why is it permitted to continue to go on? Is money that important? For the money that's made off drugs, there's countless communities of people being, destroyed, suburban and urban, projects, trailer park, white, black, brown, Asian. It's just not worth it, man. And for the lower end of the people that's on the spectrum of it, that's out there on the streets pushing a bag or call themselves trappers, they really at the bad end of the stick. They hustle and push the bag to go, do whatever it is they do with their money. And at the end of the day, the same people that's, allowing it to float over here, it's the same ones that's pulling up and taking you to jail. Hey, you're under arrest, serving you indictment papers. You know what I mean? And not just the indictment papers, but, they're going to look around and do an investigation as to where the proceeds are, and whatever property you may have acquired. So it's not a win-win, man. I don't understand. But you got your favorite, industry people that's pushing this. You got movies that push this trap or die stuff. But in reality, man, they working for the same people, man. They just a promoter of it. How you football games, they got a mascot promoting that team. Well, that's what your rapper is. He's a promoter for the institution, man, because he's getting you lined up, man, to go to prison, man, to be free labor, you know, or possibly, get your head knocked off out here in the streets if you don't move right. So again, man, to all my young brothers and sisters, it's not worth it, man. It's a cold system. And once you're able to sit back and really analyze it, like, okay, you know what? This is bigger than a dollar. This is bigger than, the community and whoop whoop. This is more like a moral thing, especially when you can look further ahead and know that it's rigged and you don't win. No kingpin has ever, sailed away with the big bag of money. No kingpin has ever had, an armored cart behind his funeral. It just don't happen, man. None of it goes with you, man. It's just, you're a device that's used in this war between good and evil. And drugs is on a major tipping point of destruction. That's all it brings. That's all it promises you. You, the people who are involved in it, those that are hooked on it, again, it's nothing good coming out of it. And we ain't gonna go off into the spiritual aspect of the karma that you're gonna get. Not only do you lose all your rewards that you hustle hard for, your Benz and the big house and the sparkly stuff, yeah, that's gone. Everybody know that story. They show you that in every movie, and people still sign up. So I'm just, trying to make brothers aware, man, that it's a cold game. You get out here, you be who you supposed to be, man. If you ask me, a nerd is doing way better than the gangster and the hustler. He ain't ducking no bullets. He ain't somewhere in the community of nothing but men that's looking at other men. At the end of the day, man, you need to figure out what works for you, man. And stop letting these TVs and music and all of this shit pump you up to be something you not. And it's cool because, it did that to, me and several other people, and there's countless other people that'll give you a testimony, man. Half these people you think is gangsters ain't gangsters. Your favorite rapper ain't really no killer. He's a snitch. It just goes on and on how they promote all of this. And we be buying in, man. We buy in, not really looking at it, from a real point of view. So, that's my message, man. Stay away from drugs, man. Stay away from it all. The pills, whatever it is, man. It just ain't worth it, brother. That's all I can say, And like I say, man, at the end of the day, if you think that this shit just magically appear, then something is wrong, man. Your government's halfway in on it, man. And this goes for the brothers from the United States to the UK and every other government. But, the United States tend to have a major problem with it. You know what I mean? So, again, man, just pay attention, man. Stay conscious. Stay woke. That mighty dollar ain't worth all of that, man. It never was and never will be. I'd rather have loyal people than a big bag of money. Big bag of money gonna come with nothing but haters. So, like I say, man, if you got people, you got money. You got loyalty, that's way valuable than money. Have your people back, man. That's all you gotta do. Have your people back, man. Moving that energy, man. You know that energy as to you know what's right and what's wrong. We all know it, but we giving the greed. So that's all I wanted to talk about, brothers and sisters. Next time, one love.